My next guest in the program is John Brogden, Lifeline Chairman, to talk about mental health during this coronavirus outbreak. Thanks very much for your time, John. Look, the biggest factor right now, is it almost just the uncertainty? People might have a job, but we're worried about losing it. They might be on JobKeeper and not know when they're going to have a job back. And that's what's going through people's minds when their head hits the pillow, when they're sitting at home bored as well.
Well, let's not forget this came, in one sense, out of the blue, by which I mean people had plans. They had their lives organised and they didn't expect that within days and weeks they'd have no income coming through the door and they'd need to be on JobSeeker at a generous, on behalf of the taxpayer, $1,500 a fortnight, but that may be nowhere near what their outgoings were. So you're right. The thing we're getting on our calls, and at Lifeline we usually get 2,500 calls a day. Since the bushfires last year, we've been receiving an average of 2,900 calls a day. And with the coronavirus, we're up as high as 3,200 calls a day. If you annualise that, that means we're getting calls of around 1.1 million a year, which is absolutely unprecedented in the 57-year history of Lifeline. So what we're seeing is two main things. Firstly, we're seeing people's anxiety. And you're right, they go to bed wondering what's going to happen. Will we get ill? Will someone we know get ill? Will we be able to pay the mortgage? What happens when all this is over, when it is eventually over? And on the list go with respect to people's anxiety. And the second thing is loneliness. We hear the message and we heed the message of social distancing, and we talk about being locked down at home and isolating. Now, that's all both important and essential for our physical health, but at the same time, it's not particularly good for people's mental health.
What about on that very point? Is it a concern that we've seen people being fined and moved on when they're outside by themselves, social distancing, and maybe lying under a tree in a park? I mean, I understand why we need these measures, and I think a lot of people are taking them seriously, but that authorities are getting it a bit wrong with that focus, whether it be at the police level, at the making the laws level for states?
Look, I wouldn't say that. I think you can get out and about and still comply with the laws. Yes, it's not as easy as it used to be, and you're not as free as you were, but in these circumstances, we expect governments to act in this sort of manner. So you can get out and about, you can go for a walk. And in fact, I encourage that with as many people as possible. Getting out, getting the sun on your face, if you've got that opportunity, is really very important for people.
But I'll just, like some of the vision we're rolling now, you can see someone, sorry to jump in, John, but they're lying down in the park, there's nobody near them, and the police drive through the park and they get the move on.
Yeah, well, I guess they're the laws. They're the laws at the moment, but they're not stopping people from getting out and enjoying some space by themselves and some time by themselves. So we're not particularly getting that reflected in the calls we're getting to Lifeline at the moment.
Right.
More than half of the calls we get are people talking about the virus, it's anxiety and it's loneliness. I mean, we get a lot of calls from lonely people any given day without the virus, and that's just exacerbated when we talk about things like self-isolation and the like. And whilst many of us have families and friends with whom we spend a lot of time, some people have very small families, if at all, and some people have very, very small social circles. So people are doing it tough in terms of loneliness.
No, it's a good point, and perhaps there'll be that little easing. Even if it can be a group of, instead of 2 out to 5, it can make all the difference. John, we'll talk again during this crisis. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.